Loneliness is a dance between light and shadow, where our soul finds its most authentic voice.
Loneliness is a portal to deeper dimensions of consciousness.
The true artist of life knows how to dance between silence and chaos.
The awareness of I am connects us to everything that is, dissolving all separation.
Hello, I'm Ruby and Oliver, and today I bring you an extraordinary episode of The Power of the Unconscious. I'm honored to welcome two ancestral masters whose wisdom has transcended centuries. Rumi, the mystical poet who revolutionized our understanding of love and consciousness, and Sri Nisargadatta, whose profound wisdom guides us through the mysteries of being. Today, we will dive into a fascinating theme: loneliness, the path to a stronger unconscious. We will explore how loneliness, when consciously embraced, can become a powerful tool for transformation and self-discovery. You will discover why great spiritual masters have always sought isolation as a path to enlightenment, how to transform moments of solitude into opportunities for deep growth, and, most importantly, learn the difference between healthy isolation and inner disconnection. Get ready for a unique journey where we will learn to harness the power of the unconscious for our personal evolution. Let's start with a profound question. Is loneliness a burden we should avoid or an essential path to self-knowledge? Rumi, I would like to hear your perspective on this.
Rubian, loneliness is definitely an essential road to self-knowledge. Imagine a dancer in a trance who surrenders to the dance, but at a certain moment, needs to withdraw to hear their own inner music. It is in that silence, away from the external noise, that they can understand the depth of their emotions, distinguish what is truly love and what is just a distant echo. Loneliness should not be seen as a burden, but as a rich opportunity for reflection. In this space of quietude, we are invited to explore what resides within us, our joys, sorrows, and, most importantly, our truths. Just as a river finds its deepest bed, in solitude we can discover unknown areas of our soul, allowing true love, the love that expresses itself in authenticity, to blossom.
What a beautiful analogy about the dancer. Maharaj, how do you see this issue of loneliness? Is it really a necessary path for us to know ourselves better?
Look, Rubian, loneliness can be one of the greatest allies on the journey of self-knowledge. When we find ourselves alone, we are confronted with our inner self, away from the external distractions we often use to avoid our own consciousness. Think of loneliness as a vast ocean. When we are surrounded by other people and noise, the waves can drag us away and make us lose clarity. But when we are alone, the water calms, and we can see more clearly the reflections of who we truly are, beyond the identities we build in our interactions. Loneliness is a sacred space, an invitation to have deep dialogues with oneself. It is in this inner silence that we can find the true essence of being, which is peace and love, beyond the limitations imposed by the ego. By accepting loneliness as part of spiritual evolution, we begin to realize that we are not truly alone. The awareness of I am connects us to everything that is.
Fantastic! The metaphors of the dancer and the ocean show us how loneliness can be a gentle teacher when embraced with openness. Let's move on to our next question. But before we continue, let me give you an incredible tip. Did you know that it's very easy to get ahead of 99% of people, succeeding in everything you want for your life? I'll leave a link below in the first comment to a book that changed my perspective on various aspects of my mind, and that has been helping thousands of people find clarity and confidence to achieve their goals and dreams. Don't miss it. I'm sure you'll love it. I have an intriguing question now for us to explore. Does the unconscious strengthen in silence or in the chaos of human interactions? Rumi, what is your view on this?
Look, Rubian, the unconscious is fascinating because it manifests in different ways in both contexts. Imagine a vast ocean. On the surface, we can have both calm and storm, and each state reveals something unique about its depths. In silence, we find the perfect space for reflection and self-knowledge. It's like diving into crystal clear waters, where we can clearly see our history, memories, and unexpressed feelings. It is in this moment that the voice of the heart can be heard without interference. But we cannot ignore the power of the chaos of interactions. It's as if they are waves bringing hidden treasures to the surface, repressed emotions, desires, and fears that would normally remain in the depths. These interactions serve as mirrors, showing us aspects of ourselves that we might never perceive in quietude. The true artist of life is the one who knows how to dance between these two states, using both serenity and agitation as teachers on their journey of transformation.
A fascinating perspective. And you, Maharaj, how do you see this dance between silence and chaos in shaping the unconscious?
Rubian, although the unconscious manifests in both contexts, its true strength emerges especially in silence. When the mind is agitated and full of noise, it's as if we are looking into a foggy mirror. It becomes difficult to see clearly. Think of a secret garden. When there is too much movement and noise around, we lose the ability to perceive the subtle details of the flowers, the movement of the leaves, the small insects that inhabit it. It is in silence that we can truly observe and understand the life that pulses in that garden. It is in this space of quietude that we can question our automatic habits and beliefs, allowing the deeper layers of the unconscious to surface. Silence thus becomes a portal to genuine discoveries about ourselves and our relationship with the world.
It's impressive how each environment offers a unique path to self-knowledge. Let's continue exploring more of these depths. And for you who are noticing the quality of this conversation and the depth and importance of what we are discussing here, please help us by leaving your like and also comment on what you would like to see here on our channel. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your help. A question that touches on something very deep. Is it possible to transform the feeling of isolation into a deep connection with the universe? Rumi, how do you see this possibility?
Yes, Rubian, this transformation is not only possible but can be one of the deepest processes we can experience. Imagine an artist in their moment of creation, initially alone in their studio, but as they surrender to the creative process, they begin to feel a connection to something greater than themselves. The introspection that comes with isolation can be like a door opening to deeper truths. When we embrace these moments of solitude instead of resisting them, we begin to realize that we are part of something much larger. It is in moments of quietude that we can hear the universal melody of life. Ultimately, it is love, this fundamental force that unites us, that emerges more clearly in these moments. When we realize that our personal experiences are part of a larger tapestry, that our pains and joys are shared by humanity, isolation transforms into universal connection.
What a transformative perspective. Maharaj, how do you see this possibility of converting isolation into universal connection?
Rubian, isolation is often just a construct of our mind, a veil that prevents us from seeing our true nature. When we identify too much with our individual self, we lose the perspective of our intrinsic connection with the whole. It's like a tree that sees itself as separate from the forest. It may feel lonely, but in reality, its roots are deeply connected to all the other trees, sharing nutrients and information through a complex underground network. Similarly, when we recognize our true nature, we realize that we have never been truly separate. Practices like meditation and mindful presence help us dissolve this illusion of separation. When we turn our attention to the simple, I am, we begin to perceive that every being, every particle of the universe, is a manifestation of the same essence that constitutes us.
How profound. The perspectives complement each other perfectly, showing us that isolation can indeed be the portal to discovering our universal connection. A question that touches on a sensitive point of our existence. Why do we flee from loneliness, even knowing it can reveal hidden truths? Rumi, I would like to explore your view on this.
Rubian, it's a deep question that touches the heart of our human condition. We flee from loneliness because it is like an unyielding mirror reflecting our most intimate and sometimes painful truths. When we are alone, we have no choice but to confront our own thoughts, fears, and desires. Think of a solitary walk through a dense forest. The silence among the trees may seem intimidating at first, but it is precisely in that quietude that we can hear the deepest voice of our soul echoing. It is an invitation to introspection that many of us fear to accept. The truth is that we prefer to stay in the superficiality of everyday life, in constant distractions, because the transformation that loneliness demands can be challenging. It is not just the fear of pain that makes us retreat, but also the fear of the very freedom that comes with self-discovery. It's as if we are always on the edge of a deep dive, but choose to stay only dipping our toes at the shore.
Fascinating, this perspective of the silent forest, Rumi. And you, Maharaj, how do you see our tendency to flee from solitude?
Look, Rubian, this flight from solitude is deeply rooted in the natural restlessness of the mind. It's as if we are constantly avoiding a scheduled meeting with our own essence. Solitude has this power of being a mirror that reflects not only our insecurities and unfulfilled desires, but also our identification with a superficial self. When we are immersed in the distractions of everyday life, we manage to avoid this confrontation with our internal truths. But solitude has the unique potential to connect us with our true self, that essence that is beyond identification with body and mind. And you know what's interesting? Solitude can be a sacred space for discovery and spiritual growth. It's like a calm lake. We can only see the bottom when the surface is serene. But we are so used to stirring these waters with constant distractions that we lose the chance to glimpse our own depth.
Extraordinary how both of you bring perspectives that illuminate different aspects of this escape. Let's continue our exploration. We have arrived at a fundamental question about our deeper nature. Is solitude the gateway to the unconscious or a reflection of our inner disconnection? Rumi, what do you think about that?
Rubian, solitude is like a cave of mirrors that allows us to explore the depths of our being. When we are truly alone, our unconscious finds space to manifest, revealing fears, longings, and emotions that usually remain hidden beneath the distractions of daily life. But there is another side to this coin. Solitude can also be a symptom of internal disconnection, like a garden overrun with weeds, where we isolate ourselves from love and genuine connection, both with others and with ourselves. This disconnection generates a deep longing for wholeness. The secret lies in transforming solitude into a creative space, where we can not only explore what we lack, but also cultivate the love that already exists within us, allowing it to bloom and expand naturally into the world around us.
What a profound perspective, Maharaj. How do you see this relationship between solitude, the unconscious, and inner disconnection?
Look, Rubian, solitude is like a powerful invitation for an inner journey. When we are alone, we are confronted with thoughts and emotions that we usually suppress in the presence of others. Think of a calm lake. When the surface is still, we can clearly see what lies beneath. That's how solitude works. It creates a space of clarity where we can access not only our discomforts, but also a rich tapestry of insights and understandings. However, we often experience solitude as a state of disconnection, not due to a lack of external company, but because of the absence of a true connection with our essence. It is through facing this solitude that we have the chance to cultivate a deeper presence with our true self.
Fascinating how solitude can be both a portal to self-knowledge and a mirror of our disconnections. Let's explore further. An intriguing question that touches on our capacity for expansion. Rumi, how much of our potential is hidden because we do not give space for the unconscious to manifest?
Rubian, our potential is vast, but it often remains limited by the shackles of everyday life. It's like a bird that was born to fly high but lives in a cage that is too comfortable to risk its wings. Routines, daily worries, and social expectations end up forming this invisible cage that prevents our true expression. When we do not allow the unconscious to manifest, it's as if we are constantly pruning a wild garden, preventing it from showing its true beauty and exuberance. True transformation happens when we lower these defenses and allow our essence to bloom naturally. It's fascinating to realize that by embracing our inner story without judgment, we open the doors to an abundance of unexplored potential. It's as if we give permission for creativity and love to flow freely, renewing our lives with each moment.
A fascinating analogy about the wild garden. Maharaj, how do you see this hidden potential that exists within us?
Rubian, it's impressive how much of our potential remains dormant due to our excessive identification with the conscious mind. It's as if we are constantly on the surface of a vast ocean, never exploring its mysterious depths. When the mind is agitated with its incessant worries and repetitive thoughts, it acts like a dense fog that obscures our inner vision. But by creating space for silence and attentive observation, we begin to access deeper layers of wisdom and intuition. Every experience we live leaves an impression on our unconscious, like seeds planted in fertile soil. When we finally allow these seeds to germinate, through acceptance and embrace, we discover talents and possibilities we never imagined we possessed.
Extraordinary how both perspectives show us that we are much vaster than we imagine. It's time to give more space for these depths to emerge. A delicate question that many of us face. How can we differentiate between healthy isolation and abandonment of ourselves? Rumi, I would like to hear your perspective on that.
Rubian, this difference is subtle but fundamental. Healthy isolation is like a voluntary spiritual retreat, where we allow ourselves to dive into our essence for reflection and self-knowledge. It's that sacred moment when we choose to be with ourselves to process emotions and thoughts. On the other hand, abandonment of ourselves is a form of inner exile, where we hide out of fear or insecurity. It's as if we are wearing a mask and, by distancing ourselves, we lose touch with who we really are. Instead of flowing naturally, we become prisoners of our own limitations. For example, when we process a loss through creative expression, allowing the pain to transform into something meaningful, we are practicing healthy isolation. But if that same pain pushes us into a dark corner of the soul, where we lose communication with our being, we fall into the trap of abandonment.
What a clarifying distinction. Maharaj, how do you perceive this fine line between healthy isolation and abandonment of oneself?
Look, Rubian, healthy isolation is like a moment of sacred retreat where we allow ourselves to reconnect with our essence. Like an artist seeking a quiet space to create, this type of isolation nurtures our soul and allows our creativity and inner wisdom to flourish. Abandonment, on the other hand, is an escape from ourselves and our emotional responsibilities. It's like a boat drifting too far from the shore. Initially, it may seem liberating, but without direction, it ends up lost in the vast ocean of self-forgetfulness. The key lies in the intention. While healthy isolation revitalizes and brings clarity, abandonment results in emptiness and disconnection. It's important to ask ourselves, does this moment of solitude bring me closer or further away from who I truly am?
Impressive how both emphasize the importance of intention behind our isolation. It's really about the quality of that solitude, not its quantity. We have come to an intriguing question that affects us all. Is solitude a creative force or a void to be filled? Rumi, what is your perspective on that?
Rubian, solitude is like a dance between light and shadow, a fascinating paradox that can both nurture and challenge our soul. It is in this space of silence, away from external voices, that our inner self gains voice and creativity finds its most authentic stage. I remember a poet-dancer who, upon losing a dear friend, transformed his pain into pure art. His solitude was not a burden but a blank canvas where music and poetry intertwined with his sorrow, each movement an expression of the divine. Of course, solitude can also present itself as an apparently bottomless abyss, a silence that frightens and imprisons. But even in that void, there is potential for growth. It is in the depths of solitude that we are invited to look within and confront our most intimate truths.
What a beautiful way to see this duality of solitude. Maharaj, how do you see this dynamic between emptiness and creative force in solitude?
Rubian, solitude is like a blank canvas inviting us to create our own inner masterpiece. When we are truly alone, free from external distractions, we have the opportunity to dive into the depths of our consciousness and explore the hidden treasures of our being. It is a space of freedom where thoughts, ideas, and feelings that were previously suffocated by the chaos of the world can finally breathe and express themselves. Solitude then becomes not a void to be feared, but a portal to self-knowledge and transformation. The true connection, the one we so anxiously seek in the external world, already resides within us. When we embrace solitude with openness and acceptance, it guides us to a state of inner peace where creativity and fulfillment naturally flourish.
Fascinating how solitude can be such a profound teacher when we embrace it with open arms. It truly is a sacred space for creation and discovery. A fascinating question that echoes through the ages. Rumi, Why do so many spiritual traditions embrace isolation as a path to enlightenment? What is so special about this withdrawal from the world?
Rubian, isolation is like a key that opens the doors of inner perception. It's fascinating to note that when we step away from the noise of the world, we create a sacred space where our essence can emerge naturally. Think of a serene lake. When the surface is calm, it perfectly reflects the sky. Similarly, when our minds are free from disturbances, we can see our true natures and connect with the essence of the divine. Many traditions, especially Sufism, understand that this solitude is fundamental to the death of the ego, a transformative process where we shed the external layers that define us. It is in this space of quietude that we can hear the inner music of the soul and become more receptive to the wisdom that surrounds us. In the end, it's not just about stepping away, but about getting closer to who we truly are. It's a journey inward that paradoxically connects us with the infinite.
Interesting perspective on the serene lake, Rumi. And you, Maharaj, how do you understand this role of isolation in spiritual traditions?
See, Rubian, isolation acts as a portal to deeper dimensions of consciousness. When we are constantly immersed in the social whirlwind, with its demands and distractions, we lose touch with our true essence. Isolation offers the unique opportunity to cultivate conscious presence. In a tranquil environment, we can more easily connect with the reality that is always present in the now, free from the distractions of the past or the future. It's important to understand that isolation is not an end in itself, but a means to explore the depth of consciousness and discover who we really are, beyond superficial identifications. It is in this silent space that true enlightenment often emerges.
Extraordinary how isolation can be such a powerful path to spiritual awakening. While Rumi shows us the transformation of the ego, Maharaj reveals the portal to deeper consciousness. A profound question that takes us to the heart of existence. Rumi, what can solitude teach us about the mysteries of the mind and spirit?
Rubian, solitude is like a mystical portal that leads us to the depths of our being. Imagine a tranquil lake. It is in its calm surface that we can see the clearest reflections of the sky. Similarly, moments of solitude offer us the opportunity to dig deep within ourselves, revealing truths that may be buried beneath the turbulence of everyday life. When we are alone, we have the chance to hear our own voice, the one that is often drowned out by the opinions of others and the noise of the world. It is an invitation to venture into our interior, to explore what we truly feel, desire, and fear. Solitude can be a beacon that guides us towards self-knowledge, revealing the shadows that hinder our full connection with others and the divine. This introspection is essential, for the true understanding of love and spirituality begins when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, away from distractions. When we embrace this solitude, we experience the self dissolving and connect with something greater, which envelopes us as part of a whole.
What a beautiful perspective on this inner dive. Maharaj, how do you see the teachings that solitude can bring us?
Look, Rubian, solitude is often seen as something uncomfortable, but it is actually an extraordinary teacher. When external distractions dissipate, the mind finds space to confront the mysteries that dwell within us. Think of a secret garden at dawn. It is in this moment of quiet that we can truly perceive the delicacy of the flowers blooming, feel the dew on the petals, and hear the song of the first birds. Similarly, in the depths of solitude, when the agitation ceases, the mind can finally calm down, revealing the underlying truths that have always been present. Solitude teaches us that the spirit is more than the physical self or social interactions. It is an opportunity to recognize the essential being, the I am, which transcends the limitations of the body and external experiences. Through it, we can explore our deepest thoughts, fears, and desires with courage and sincerity, transforming it into a vehicle for liberation.
Magnificent! While Rumi shows us solitude as a lake of self-knowledge, Maharaj reveals it as a garden of subtle discoveries. Both visions invite us to a deep dive into our essence. Wow, what an incredible conversation we had today. Before we wrap up, I want to immensely thank our masters Rumi and Sri Nisargadatta for sharing such wisdom with us about how solitude can be a powerful tool for transformation and self-knowledge. Today we saw how it is possible to transform moments of isolation into opportunities for growth, how solitude can strengthen our unconscious and connect us with something much greater than ourselves. It is truly fascinating to realize that what we often fear may be precisely the portal to our evolution. It was an incredible honor to have you here sharing these profound perspectives. I sincerely hope to welcome you again in future episodes for more transformative conversations like this one. For those of you who watched until now, I invite you to explore more amazing content from the channel. On the screen, you will find 2 videos I specially selected. Just click on the images to watch. And if you enjoyed this content and want to continue receiving deep reflections like these, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Here we always bring relevant topics that help in your personal and spiritual development. Thank you for watching until now, and I wish you to be free from everything that takes away your peace.